welcome back to another episode of Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Daily Walk Edition. This is episode number 35, and I'm back at Red Morton Park. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous Monday morning here in beautiful Redwood City, California. The sun is out. Let me just show you up above. Just take a look at the sky. Just unbelievably gorgeous. December 17th. The weather is just amazing. We had a pretty good amount of rainfall here in the San Francisco Bay Area over the weekend. I was going to go on a hike yesterday with a friend of mine, but that got canceled. It's funny, my Weather Channel app said there will be light rain falling throughout most of the afternoon, but it was actually a downpour, so we couldn't do the hike. And then, interestingly enough, later on in the afternoon, I wore some rain gear, and I ended up doing, 2 laps of a walk here yesterday, and I got drenched, so I said, fuck it. I'm not going to go any further than that. Typically, I like to do at least, 4-5 laps so I can get a good 4 or 5 miles of exercise in each day. But that just couldn't happen yesterday. So, anyway. But besides that, let me just move on over here, because there are some people on the other side. Don't want to interrupt them. Give me just 1 second here. So today is my birthday. Today is my 45th birthday. And that's what the topic is going to be regarding today's Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, Daily Walk Edition, episode number 35. It's not going to be just about my birthday. It's going to be about the meaning of birthdays as an adult. So let me just get to that topic here right now, and we'll just dive right into it. And I'm also going to be mentioning some updates regarding my platform, regarding Coach Eli's platform. I'll mention those first here in a second after I get to the topic, which is what I'm trying to say. So let's just go ahead and do that. The topic of today's episode is Coach Eli turns 45. And the meaning of birthdays as an adult, plus updates regarding Coach Eli's platform. One more time, Coach Eli turns 45 today. And the meaning of birthdays as an adult, plus updates in regards to Coach Eli's platform. Well, before I get to the birthday festivities here and all that stuff, all that jazz, let me update you folks on some changes I've made to my platform that I didn't even foresee making initially. I have received a lot of feedback from many people. These are good people. And a lot of the feedback was making me aware that completely disabling my comments on my new YouTube channel is going to shoot me in the foot. And initially, when I restarted my YouTube channel, or a new YouTube channel almost a month ago, the one thing I wanted to prevent was my former trolls that, were creating a lot of havoc on my former YouTube channel and pretty much, made my life miserable during that time. Okay. But then, I started to realize, maybe a few days ago or so that maybe it's not really a bad idea to re-enable comments and just let people have their voice and ignore the people that are creating the havoc. A bunch of people were making me aware that, hey, other coaches like Coach Corey Wayne, Dan Bacon, Coach Craig Kenneth, and many other decent coaches out there that I also follow, they have their trolls and their haters, and they leave their comments wide open, and they just ignore those people, and they focus on the people that really appreciate their message for what it is. And that's exactly what I've decided to do. I was thinking initially of re-enabling my comments and putting them on a approved comment status only, meaning that I would have to go in there and manually approve any comments that are submitted. But quite frankly, I don't really have the time to do that. And you know what? Taking it a step further, I think everyone should be allowed to have their voice, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Even, give me a second here, big PG&E truck entering the lot here. That's Pacific Gas and Electric Company. I don't know what they're doing out here. Maybe they're doing some work on the power lines. But anyway, like I was saying, I think it would only be fair to allow everyone to have their voice, even the haters. And I can just ignore the haters. I'll leave their comments there unless they're very, very bad and they're very derogatory and they're filled with hate speech. The one thing I will not allow on my channel is hate speech. Now, you can voice your opinion about touchy subjects. I do that all the time. But you can voice your opinion with tact and give some logical reasoning. If you're going to go off on an emotional rant and not back up whatever you're saying with logic and reasoning, and it just comes off as a hateful rant, that's something I will consider hate speech and I will delete. But I do not intend to delete most comments, even if they're comments by my former haters or new haters out there that may not believe in my message or don't like who I am for whatever reason. You have to understand that when you put yourself out there as a public figure, probably about half the people that encounter you are not going to like you, and the other half are going to like you. So why punish the people that do like you and make it more difficult for them to communicate with you? At the same time, we can learn from the haters, like seeing what these haters write. We can learn from them. We can try to dissect why they're reacting that way. Now, for me, I'm not going to bring a lot of attention on those negative comments. But again, if they do happen, and they more than likely, sorry, I just hit my microphone, and they more than likely will happen, it just goes to show, how some people are. It just goes to show that, maybe these people need more help than they're willing to accept. I like to show things real and raw here on my channel. And if I totally lock things down to the point of where the haters can't even come in, I'm not being totally real. I want you folks to see what I'm going through and what people like me go through. So if you decide to, start a YouTube channel or start your own business and you start to create an online presence, which is what most people do nowadays when they're starting a business, the online world is the way to go, okay? You're going to know how to better handle it. You're going to know how to deal with it. So I've decided to open up my comments starting with this video and all future videos from here on out. I reserve the right to change that, but I don't foresee changing that. All previous videos that had comments disabled will continue to have comments disabled. I'm not going to go back and change the descriptions that say comments are disabled for this video. And those are in the past. And if you come across some of those videos or go back and look at some of those videos and you do want to comment on those videos, there are instructions within those description sections of those videos where you can go over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/lifecoacheli, find the same video there and make a comment. Or you can just go to my website at coacheli.melas.com/register for a free account. And then you can go to my Relationship Sanctuary blog within my website where I embed all of my videos I upload to YouTube, same exact videos, and comment there. I highly suggest you go and register on my website regardless for free at coacheli.melas.com/register, because I'm going to be putting out a bunch of other free content out there that you'll only be able to access if you register for a free account. And additionally, down the road, I will be offering some more premium content and premium information that, is going to be paid content, and you're going to need to register and pay for the product there as well. So that's pretty much, what I've decided to do. Again, I'm opening up my comments wide open on YouTube. I decided to do it. I stand on my own, and, I want to start engaging with some good people again. And the only way to do that is to really open up the comments, ignore the haters, and focus on the good people that probably have wanted to comment on some of my other videos where the comments were disabled but weren't able to do so. It's not fair to punish the good people out there, because I know there are a lot of good people out there as well, because there are a few haters. And there are only like 4 or 5 people out there that really despise my work and hate my work. And it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to allow 4 or 5 people out there, to destroy what I want to do, not only for myself, but for other people. I'm not going to allow those people to alter, what I want to create out here. And you shouldn't allow 4 or 5 haters if you're in a similar situation, or if you ever get into a similar situation down the road where you start an online business and use videos and use YouTube or other platforms. You shouldn't let the haters get to you. I got some of that advice from some good people that have been following me for a while. There's this one gentleman, I can't remember what your name is. You actually commented on my blog. You registered on my website, and I appreciate that. But I want you to know that I respect what you wrote, and a huge reason why I'm opening up my comments on YouTube is because of what you mentioned. You took the time to write me shit like a fucking, 8-paragraph comment. You mentioned a lot of other things there as well, and I took it to heart. So I want you folks to know that when you engage with me and you send me feedback, good, bad, or indifferent, I appreciate it, as long as it's coming from the right place. As long as it's coming from the right place, and, you're sending me a comment because you care, whether you agree with me or not, that's great. Comments I don't appreciate are those comments where it's just all about, trying to kick me down or kick someone else down, rather than just trying to help them. Okay? Trying to help somebody, with something that you feel they could be doing better, is not a problem, as long as you approach it in a loving way. If you feel I'm doing something wrong or could do something better, or someone else is doing something wrong or could be doing something better, and you want to give your feedback, no problem, but do it in a loving way. If you do it in an attacking, hateful way, I won't tolerate that. Quite frankly, I don't have a problem with the issues my haters have regarding myself. I have a problem the way they approach it, and they come from an attacking mentality or an attacking type of place, rather than a place of, hey, you know what, we just want to help you get better. We feel you could be doing this a little bit better. If you tweak this here a little bit, tweak that there a little bit, you can make it a whole lot better. And quite honestly, even my haters, they've given me some advice lately that I've seen within some of the videos they've put out there or live streams they've done on me. And some of it I appreciate. A lot of it, it's just the same old BS crap I will just ignore. But even to my haters out there, if you come from a loving place and you try to give myself or anyone else some decent advice, I can still appreciate that. Okay? So that's pretty much what's going on there. A few other things. I started my interview series over the weekend. I was able to connect with Manny Rivera and do the Manny Rivera interview on the Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli interview series, platform. And it ended up being a really good interview. The problem was I had some issues with OBS. OBS is open broadcast software, which is what many people use to either do live streaming on YouTube or Facebook or other platforms such as Twitch, or you can use it to record video locally and integrate other people into your video, such as I did with Manny. He was on location at a park in Florida. I was in my studio in the San Francisco Bay Area, and OBS allows you to put all that together. Well, I had made some changes to my audio profiles and got some new drivers to try to increase the quality of my production, and a few of my settings were off even after I double checked them. I guess they somehow changed, and my audio was out of sync throughout that interview with Manny, and throughout the entire interview my microphone was a little too loud, also known as it was a little too hot, meaning that it was just too loud. You can kind of tell when a microphone is too loud. The level of the gain of the microphone was too hot. So I have fixed all that. Future productions will be the great quality that you've always known to expect from me. I firmly believe in providing the best possible quality in either 720p or 1080p high definition and in crystal clear stereo sound. Again, my apologies. The quality of the Manny Rivera interview was not the greatest, but you can still hear it, even though it's kind of out of sync throughout most of the interview and the video, or within the video. It's still a great interview, and you can learn something from it, so definitely check it out, on that. I also started a video response series where I'm going to be critiquing videos that pertain to subjects that I talk about or that I help people with. And I did a video where a popular YouTube creator named Deanna Lorraine was interviewing another popular YouTuber, a bit of Brit, and they were talking about feminism, MGTOW, and what's really happening in the modern world and why dating is suffering. You definitely want to go back a few videos wherever you view my videos at, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, or my website, and check that out. It was very, very interesting. I critiqued it, and I was like blown away by what these women had to say. So I'll be doing a lot more of that. Also going to be, like I said, doing more interviews. Interviews that are coming soon, more than likely this week. Charles F. Gray, I'll be interviewing him. Todd Demore, who I believe lives in Canada and is going through a nasty divorce where his ex-wife-to-be has basically made his life so miserable, to the point of where, he may be doing some jail time for something that's not even his fault. And Todd's okay with me discussing this. He's given me full permission to discuss whatever he shared with me. But better yet, more than likely this Wednesday, him and I are going to be doing a pre-recorded interview to share his story, and it's going to blow your mind away. So Charles F. Gray should be coming this week. The Charles F. Gray interview, the Todd DeMoore interview. And if you're interested in being interviewed by me and you have a story that you want to share, that you feel, can help us all learn regarding your experiences of the modern world, just reach out to me at Coach Eli at coacheli@eliasmelas.com. Email me at coacheli@coacheli@eliasmelas.com. And, I definitely would love to chat with you and see if it's something that I would want to interview you on and put it out to my entire audience. Okay, I'm just waiting a second here. All right, so let's just get to the topic of today's Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, Daily Walk Edition, episode number 35. And today we're talking about Coach Eli turns 45 and, the meaning of birthdays as an adult. So today, December 17th, 2018, I turned 45. So pretty much this is like I've reached pretty much the midpoint of my life, assuming I'm going to live to be 90 years old or so, maybe a little bit longer. So I assume I'm at the midpoint of my life. And I'm going to share with you folks, first of all, my opinion on how I feel about my birthday each year, how I look at it as a man from the male standpoint, what it means to me, what it doesn't mean to me, how I see this day. Well, first and foremost, and I think many men probably feel the same way, as you get older, when you're younger, actually, let's start back when you're young. When you're younger and you're in preschool, nursery school, grammar school, and even high school, birthdays are a big fucking deal for both men and women. Birthdays pretty much, give you and your family the excuse to throw a party and get a bunch of people together and have fun, right? It's like a social setting, right? So when you're younger, most parents will say, hey, let's throw you a birthday party. Let's go to a pizza parlor. Like we used to have a place called Chuck E. Cheese, which I think they're still around in certain areas. I don't think we have one in my area anymore. But Chuck E. Cheese was a great place to have a birthday because they had video games, they had pinball machines, they had the skeet shooting, they had the basketball hoops and all that stuff. You can go there, get some great pizza and some great food and some soda and have some fun, right? So when you're younger, birthdays, are basically an excuse to, throw a party, have your family throw you a party and get all your friends together. And typically, when you're in grammar school especially, okay, many times most parents will invite the entire class. Both the boys and the girls, everyone's invited to the party, and let's have a big grand old party. But it was really interesting back in those days, in some cases, even back in my grammar school days, back in the 80s, there were some cases where it was a girls only party or a boys only party. Okay. And even back in those days, where I didn't even really know much about women, was back in those days where, girls are nasty, girls, we don't like girls and this and that, remember, back in the grammar school days where, guys feel that women have cooties and shit like that, right? Okay. The fact that, there were girl-only parties or even boy-only parties, I didn't like that. I loved the parties where both boys and girls were there because it was just more fun. I always loved interacting with both sexes. So even back in my, way younger days, back in the days where I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, around there. It bugged me when, certain groups were shut out. I would always ask my mom, "Oh, why is it only a girls only party, Mom? Why is it only a girls only party?" And like, "Oh, they just wanted to, you know, have a girls night." Okay, all right, whatever. It is what it is, or it was what it was. Okay, so to not drag on this part of the story too much longer, when you're younger, your grammar school days, your high school days, etc., your nursery school days, okay, everyone makes a big deal about birthdays because it's just an excuse to gather a large group of people together. That's all it is. What happens when you graduate high school, or even in many cases, once you reach high school, birthdays start to kind of lose their meaning, at least for men, in my opinion. Okay? Like when you get into high school, you start getting more and more busy, and you start thinking about college and your future career and stuff, and, your parents are focused on helping you in other areas, so, all those parties that were arranged for you while you were in grammar school and preschool start to happen much less or not at all. Okay, and once you turn 18 and you either go to college or you hit the workforce immediately, whatever you decide to do, in my opinion, at least coming from me as a man, my birthday ends up just being another day. And that's how I look at it to this day. Like today, December 17, 2018, I turned 45 years old. I'm a year older than I was last year. Okay? Now, am I being like bitter about it that I'm getting old or getting older and I haven't accomplished everything I want to accomplish? No, I'm just saying that it's just another fucking day. It's not that big of a deal. And I'll go further into it. Why? Because it's funny how on your birthday, which is considered a special occasion, it's funny how, like, you'll hear from people. Like, if you have a lot of Facebook friends like I do, I have like 4,300 plus Facebook friends. Like, they use your birthday, and this is no disrespect. I'm happy that you're all commenting and wishing me happy birthday. I appreciate that. But think about it. People will make a special effort to reach out to you and say happy birthday to you on your birthday just because just because of the sole fact that it's your birthday. But why wouldn't they just do that? Why wouldn't they just do that on any given day? If someone's a real, true friend, they're not going to need a special occasion such as a birthday, to reach out to you. It's become a thing where people feel obligated to reach out to you on special days, especially your birthday, especially if you have a large Facebook following or any Facebook following. Like, people will wish you a happy birthday just because they get a notification from Facebook that, Coach Eli, Elias Melas, is celebrating a birthday today. Send him a note. Again, I totally appreciate all of the birthday wishes that I've been getting. And as of this point right now, I think like 130, 140 people have sent me a birthday wish. And in the past, I was able to respond to everyone individually, but that's just not possible with the amount of friends I have now. And in all honesty, on my Facebook, I know most of my 4,300 friends. I met them either through networking or their college or grammar school friends, or their family. Most of the people on my Facebook, I know and I have met at one point in my life, whether there's somebody I met through a business networking arena or someone that I've gone to school with, or played Little League Baseball with, or played AYSO, soccer with, American Youth Soccer Organization, which is an organization that young kids, can play soccer in a league. Okay, so I know most of these people. Okay, again, I appreciate everyone sending me the wishes. But the way that I look at it is, it's just another fucking day. It's another day in my life. My day goes on. I'm shooting a video today, and I'm probably going to do a special live stream later this afternoon because it is my birthday. So I am going to do something a little bit special. But I'm really not going to do anything much more differently than I would on any typical day. Life goes on, your business still goes on, bills still need to get paid, you know, it's not really that big of a deal. And I think that most men have a similar outlook on that because men are purpose driven. Men, like to go out there and make shit happen and create shit. Okay? And a lot of times men don't like to let the emotional shit or the emotional stuff, get in the way of continuing to focus on something they want to accomplish. And let me kind of explain a little bit more about that. Like a special occasion, like a birthday, typically triggers people's emotions to want to reach out to you and hang out with you. And which sex, male or female, looks at things more emotionally than logically, at least initially? It's women. So let me get over to how women look at birthdays. Women love birthdays. Women love their own birthday, and they also love other people's birthdays, especially, if they're dating someone or married to someone. Women love special occasions. They live for special occasions. It's just another way to allow their emotions to flow and to bond and connect with people and just kind of just make that a really special day. Women enjoy that shit, and they'll drop everything for that. My ex-girlfriends, all of them, were very big on taking me out for my birthday and making me feel like a king on my birthday. Okay? And while I appreciate that, I didn't expect that. All I want is for someone to be the same, whether it's my birthday or not. I'm not looking for any special treatment on my birthday, but it just kind of seems like the way that women look at special occasions is that we're going to go above and beyond on this day because it's a special occasion, and that's what people do on special occasions, and it just makes us feel good. It's just a day for us to let our emotions even flow, more strongly towards you or whoever the special occasion is regarding. Okay? Now, on the flip side, when I'm in a relationship, or when my close friends and family have a birthday, what are my thoughts about that? Do I make a big deal out of it? I don't make a big deal out of it, but I acknowledge it. And I make these people feel special, but I don't overdo it. When I'm in a relationship with somebody and their birthday is coming up, I might surprise them and do something special for them. But I don't let it consume me. I don't let it, it doesn't, I don't feel any different or any better on that day that I'm taking that particular person out for their birthday or celebrating their birthday with them than I do on any other given day. But the way that women look at it, in my opinion, is that that's like a special day. We're going to drop everything and just put you on a pedestal that day and just, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, right? Okay. When we're younger, like I said, in grammar school and preschool, and maybe in some cases your first few years of high school, we make a big deal out of birthdays because it's just another way to socialize with people. We're younger back then, we're not driving then, we're not really independent back then, and we're dependent on our parents to drive us around so we can hang out with people. And that's the shit that kind of happens back then. But once we become independent, we start looking at things a little more differently. Especially if you're a man, you start to more focus on your future, your purpose, and whatever it is you want to accomplish. And when a day like a birthday comes up, in some cases you get overwhelmed by so many people wanting to spend it with you and hang out and do things like if you have something else going on, you feel like you have to kind of drop it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not being all bitter about this or anything like that. I'm just saying that as you get older, birthdays are just another day. It's not that big of a deal. You know, I'm not trying to discourage, you know, any man or woman from not celebrating their birthday. Like tonight, I'm going to go out to dinner with my mother. My mother's going to take me out to dinner, you know. And then my brother reached out to me and said he wants to take me out to dinner later on this week, and we're going to go ahead and do that, you know. And a bunch of friends of mine have reached out to me and they want to get together and do something, but it's like, whoa, it gets a little overwhelming. I'm like, okay, you know what? How about we just do this over the course of the next month or two? You know, let's get together and we can celebrate my birthday then, or we can just hang out like we normally would. We don't need to have a special occasion like a birthday to hang out and be friends. Okay? And that's all I'm trying to say here when it comes to birthdays. But let me just take a few more minutes here before I wrap this up as I head back to my car right now. You know, and say, and let me talk about special occasions in general. You know, the difference of how men and women look at special occasions. Like I said earlier, women love special occasions. Women love to find any excuse to bond with people they care about at a very close level. So any type of special day that comes up, they want to take advantage of that, you know, to bond closer with someone they care about, whether it's their boyfriend, their husband, a close lady friend. That's just natural for women. Okay? So special occasions are very important to women. And as a guy, you have to understand that and realize that and appreciate that. So I'm not saying, you know, don't acknowledge other people's birthdays and don't acknowledge your woman's birthday. Trust me, if you don't acknowledge your woman's birthday or an anniversary or a special occasion, I mean, you're done. You might as well not date. The purpose of this video is, you know, pretty much basically coming from the male standpoint, and maybe even in some cases, you know, some women may feel this way. Like, you know, for me personally, when I look at my own birthday, how do I feel about my own birthday? How do I look at it, you know, at the age of 45? It's just another year. I'm happy to still be alive. I'm happy to be fit and healthy. You know, I'm happy to still be able to see and speak, you know, and that's as far as it goes. You know, I don't need, you know, my birthday to be this thing that people put in lights saying, "Happy birthday, Coach Eli," or Elias Melas. I don't need people to go out of their way. Hang on, the car's trying to cross here. I don't need people to go out of their way solely on the fact that it's my birthday to try to acknowledge the fact that, hey, you know what, they're still around. They still want to be my friend when they haven't spoken to me for the previous 364 days of the year. You know what I mean? I'm not being bitter about that. I know people are busy, and I get that. All I'm saying is that why are birthdays made to be a big deal? It's kind of like the same thing, why is Christmas a big deal? You know, that was the day, Christ was born. But now we use Christmas as a day where people exchange gifts. And the retail world loves it because people spend most of their money this time of the year, right? Why do we need to have Christmas or a birthday or other days that have been created as special occasions to do things that we should be doing for each other all year round? We should just be the same all year round. We shouldn't need a special occasion to be a certain way with people we care about. We should just be that way all the time. And that's all I'm trying to say here. Where are we at? We are at, 39 minutes. Okay. I'll just go a few more minutes here as I walk around this part of the park. It seems to be getting a little bit gloomy. I see some clouds over here, and that's telling me that it may start even sprinkling a little bit. The forecast was saying that it wasn't going to rain today, but you never know. Shit changes. We are in the middle of winter, so, to even have the nice weather that we've had so far today as I've been walking here is just incredible to me. And I don't even have a jacket on right now. It feels like it's about maybe 60, 62 degrees. And when it's rained, it's not as cold. The weather is a little more mild and kind of more like a tropical type of weather. But anyway, so again, yeah, don't get me wrong here. Do I value my birthday? Sure. Do I value other people's birthdays? Sure. Okay. But do I look at it as a really big fucking deal? No. I'm just me. I'm just a normal, decent, down to earth person that loves other people. And I love hanging around other people that are nice and genuine and down to earth, and maybe they can love me in return as well. I'm also all about, bonding and connecting with people in many of the similar ways that women love to bond and connect with people. I'm all man, don't get me wrong, but you know what? I consider myself to be a very nurturing man as well. And I love, here's the bottom line. It's something that I talked about in the Manny Rivera interview. You can check it out. We talked about unconditional love. Manny thinks it still exists. I don't think it exists. But I do believe and appreciate unconditional love. And I just don't feel there should be any conditions or reasons to have to love somebody besides the fact that you just love who they are. You just feel good about that person and they feel good about you. Right? We shouldn't need a special day like a birthday to, show excessive love for that person that day or to go above and beyond for that person on that day. We should feel the same all year round. And if it's a good connection with that person, whether it's a friendship or relationship, they should feel the same way about you. A strong bond should be how do I say this the right way? It shouldn't need to have anything else attached to it to sustain itself. A strong bond is a natural strong bond between two people or a group of people or whatever, right? It shouldn't need something special or extra to kick it into high gear. And that's all I'm trying to say. And you know what? Maybe as I get older, who knows? Maybe I will throw an old school birthday party. Maybe for my 50th birthday in 5 years. Just for shits and giggles and a good kick. I might see if I can get as many of my friends together as possible and do an old school grammar school style party, maybe like at a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, where we can all be big kids for a day. That would be something different, wouldn't it? Who the fuck knows? Okay. But again, I don't feel the need to be treated any more special on a day like today. I don't want to feel any different on a day like today. I just want people to accept me for me and I accept people for them. And just treat every day as another day in this awesome world that we live in, this awesome, challenging world that we live in today, or in today's modern world. But it still is an awesome world. And again, in my opinion, I don't need any special treatment. I don't need to be put on a pedestal. I don't need to be further acknowledged or acknowledged more or appreciated more on a special occasion or any particular given day than any other day. I just want people to be the same all year round. I just want people to be consistent. Okay? We don't need to use special occasions, to go out of our way for people on one day out of the entire year or a couple of days out of the entire year. Let's just be the same all year round. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say here. Hopefully this all makes sense to you. Later today, I might end up doing a live stream on Facebook to just engage some of my friends, and I'll probably upload it to YouTube as well later on. And then, like I said, I'm probably going to go to have a nice dinner. My mother wants to take me to dinner tonight. She wants to take me out for my birthday. So I'm going to make her happy and do that because she wants to take me out because it's a special occasion. See what I mean? That's how women are. They like, it's your birthday. I want to take you out. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, okay. It's your excuse to get together with me, right? Sometimes, women have to find an excuse, you know, to see either their boyfriend or to have a special day with their husband, or a mom has to find an excuse to spend an evening with her son because we're busy during other times. So they'll use the birthday as an excuse to say, "Hey, let me take you out for your birthday. Come on. I'm just laughing at it. It's just funny to me. I'm not a bitter person, everybody. Hey, you know what? I like to have fun, and I'm more of a traditional type of guy. And I've experienced a lot of things. But as I've gotten older and as this world has changed, I've really started to look at things differently. I started to look at things, in ways of what's more productive for me, what's going to help me further get ahead in my life. I've always been about helping other people, and in the past, I've always focused more of my energy on helping other people get ahead. And in many cases, it stumped my growth while I was doing that. So now I've got the attitude of, you know what, I'm going to take care of myself first and get myself exactly where I want to be, you know, um, and then I'm going to help other people get there, or I'm going to help other people get there at the same time, which is what I'm doing here, in my coaching business. I have accomplished many things. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you folks to think I'm this fucking loser. I'm not. I've got a lot of great things going on. But, even though I do have a lot of great things going on in my life and I've accomplished a lot, the type of man I am, I always want to accomplish more. I always want to continue working on myself and becoming better and stronger, um, in whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish. Any man out there, is going to always look at his career and see, is he making enough money? Is he, happy in the career, or does he want to do something different? Does he want to make more money? I'm always looking to take it to the next level. Even though I'm already at a good level, I'm at a decent level and I've accomplished many things and I'm happy within myself. But I still want to keep moving forward and continue to grow and get better. There's another level I want to hit. And if I want to hit that, I've got to focus on that. Okay? And when days like a birthday comes around and everybody wants your fucking attention, it kind of like, puts you on a detour for that day. Okay? And before I wrap this up, don't if you're feeling the same way I'm feeling about this as a man, especially, okay, don't be a dick to other people if they want to celebrate your birthday with you, okay? Or if your girlfriend wants to take you out, if your wife wants to take you out, don't be a dick about it no matter what's going on. Even if you know that you got other things you want to focus on, you got to take some time away, um, and allow these people to, you know, just, celebrate your big day, okay? I'm just sharing with you internally how I feel about it. It's just another day. I'm Elias Melas. I'm Coach Eli. Whether it's my birthday, whether it's Christmas, whether it's New Year, whether it's New Year's Day, or whether it's Thanksgiving or Easter, I'm the same guy, whether it's a special day or just any average day. Because to me, every day is just another, day in my life. Okay? And I look at every day as a special day in my life. I said a second ago, any other average day, which is the way most people look at it. They look at days outside of special occasions as average days. I look at every day as a very special day. So when you folks out there that really value these special days at a high level, you know, to me it's no different than any other day. And that's where I'm going to wrap up this video here today at 49, almost 50 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow for another video. I'm going to try to change up the location of my videos starting sometime this week or in the near future. weather pending. If it starts to rain and I'm not able to do these videos outside, I'll be giving you an in-studio video at least Monday through Friday. I'm going to give you folks at least one video Monday through Friday, whether it's a daily walk video, whether it's a response video, whether it's an interview. Like I've been doing, there are multifacets of my coaching business here. And in some cases, I may be able to do an interview in the morning and then do a daily walk in the afternoon. I can't promise that, but what I will promise you folks is for the most part, you'll be getting at least one video on the Coach Eli platform Mondays through Fridays, and sometimes, many times, on weekends. Okay? Just like I did the Manny Rivera interview on Saturday. Okay? Sometimes that's going to happen, time permitting. All right, so with that being said, have yourselves a great day, and I will see you all next time. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.